Okay, here we go on page 11. We're working with vertex forms of quadratic. If you're good with formulas, this is an easy section for you, I feel. There's just one catch that's going to hang people up, and we're going to talk about that in the first example that I'm just going to pull back up. It's actually from page 10. But before we do that, let's say the vertex is just simply h comma k. So we're going to take whatever this number is here and whatever this number is here. That is our vertex. Remember, the vertex represents the max or the min. And then the axis of symmetry is just simply x equals h. And we'll get into what this means here down below. So the a, so using this formula up here, a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. What does the a mean? When a is greater than 1, it is what we call a compression because it shrinks something. If you think about wearing a compression sleeve, if you hurt your ankle or knee or whatever, you wear a compression sleeve. It makes something smaller and compresses it. And then if we are between 0 and 1, it's going to stretch it and make it wider. The h here is the one that we have to be careful of. And again, as I go to the example here in just a second, I'll be able to point it out more. But because of this negative sign here, you really have to be careful. This h takes it left or right. But it kind of goes opposite of the way that it's listed. And we'll go over that y in a second here. Right? And then the k is the up and down. So the example they used on the previous page, and you were going back and the warm-up compared it to absolute values, and you'd just see that they're both very similar. But we're focusing on this x plus 3 squared plus 4. And so I come over to Desmos, and what you'll notice is that I have a positive 3 and a positive 4. So you would think that it would go over 3 spots and would end up over here. And then it would go up 4 spots, and you'd be dealing with this point over here way on the right side of the graph. But you'll notice that it's actually left of 0, 0. And the reason is if we go back over here, is because of this negative sign. It actually ends up going the opposite way. So on this one here, so if you did go back to page 10, you don't need to turn this part in, but if you go back to page 10, really what we have going on here is x minus a negative 3. That's how you get the x plus 3. So that negative 3 would tell us that it shifted 3 spots to the left. Now the plus 4 is the easy part. The plus 4 is just shifted up 4 spots. So what happens is you get your vertex, then you have your vertex at negative 3, 4 right here, and it would be an upside down U. And there's just a quick sketch of what it looks like. But that's always what's going to throw people, is the fact that because you have this minus sign as a part of the equation, that h part is always backwards. So kind of an asterisk there. Remember, it's x minus h, so it's backwards. Whatever you need to do. And I'll be honest, if you're taking a test or quiz, the easiest thing to do is to quickly put it into Desmos and look and see what it does, which is exactly what we're going to do here. Okay, it says identify A, H, and K, and then answer the following questions. So we're going to break this unit, or this section down into 2 days. So they want to know identify A, H, and K. So on all of these, you'll just do A, H, K. And that's pretty easy on this first one. And should be for all of them, just because you're applying it off the formula. So my A is 3. My H, in this case, since it is a negative, is just 4, because that negative, again, is part of the equation. And my K is 2. So they're all positive in this case. And I can confirm that real quick if I do 3x minus 4. So 3, 4, and 2. So we change this to a 3. And it was a minus 4 and 2. And so again, you'll notice that we went over 4 spots to the right and up 2. If we come back over here, that makes sense. Okay. So it says, what is the vertex and the axis of symmetry? You can just get those from looking at these numbers. The vertex is, so we'll just do a V for vertex. It's 3, 4. The axis of symmetry, that's that line that you can reflect it over and be the same on each side. It's just x equals 3. So that's part A. Does it open up or down? It opens up because it's positive. And does it have a max or a minimum? Well, because it opens up, you have a U shape like this. So you're going to have a minimum point. Right? That point down here on the U is a minimum. So we'll do one more of these, kind of slowly, and then we'll do 3 and 4 quicker. So on this one here, turn the pen back on, we got A, H, and K, -2. And again, it's opposite, so in this case, it's -1. And then our K is -5. So if you have to, you could graph it real quick. So we have -2, +1. So this becomes -2, we said +1, and -5. So again, since it's opposite, we shift actually left, and we go down. So that makes sense that our vertex is -1, -5. The axis of symmetry is x equals -1. B, it opens down. And because it opens down, we have a maximum. In this case, there's a 1 in front. So there is no stretch or compression. Okay, those first two were compressions that made it smaller. This one here is neither. A equals 1, and our H equals -3. Remember, it's always the opposite inside here. And our K is 7. And the vertex is -3, 7. And our K, sorry, not our K, our axis of symmetry is just x equals -3. It does open up again because it's positive, which means that we're going to have a minimum point, and the minimum point is at that vertex, so the minimum's at -3, 7. The last one here, I want you to identify A, H, and K, describe the transformation, vertex, axis of symmetry, and graph it. So same thing we did before, just a little bit extra. There is no K on this one, so we just have our x plus 2. So our A is equal to 1. Our H is equal to, and remember, let's not do this one incorrectly. So our H is -2, and our K is 0. So that means that we have transformation. Where does this go? Well, you could graph it if you need to. So we go over here and we could do x plus 2 squared. So we could delete this out and do x plus 2 squared. And you'll notice it shifts at 2 spots left. Hence the negative. So the transformation, so t for the transformation, is we're going 2 spots left. The vertex, -2, 0. The axis of symmetry is x equals -2. And then it says graph it. I'll let you sketch these today, but if it was a test or quiz, I would expect to see all the points. So you just go -2, 0. Normally you would go through and hit all your points like that. The only thing I want you to note is that if we were to start to add stretches or compressions, then you would need to make sure that it goes wider or narrower as it's supposed to. And I'm going to jump down here. These are a little different because they're not in that vertex form. So the x squared -4 is really, when we do this, so if we just do x squared it just shifts it down. Really what we have going on here is we have x plus 0 squared -4. So then you could go through and do the same thing. So this one just shifts down 4 spots, and it's the same U shape. So our transformation is down 4 spots. Sometimes you'll have 2 to describe. You would say it goes left 2 spots and up or down, or right 2 spots and up and down. In this case, we're just going down 4 spots. All the other things that it's requiring you to do, our A in this case is equal to 1. Our H is equal to 0. And our K is equal to -4. Other things it asks, we did the transformation, vertex, and axis of symmetry. Our vertex is 0, -4, and our axis of symmetry is x equals 0. And the last one, I'm just going to explain what's going on and then be done. 4 minus x squared, that doesn't look like some of the other ones we did. But when you come over here and you put it in, this is what it looks like. Oh, okay. Why does it look like that? Well, really what it should have been written in is like this, -x squared plus 4. Or if we wanted it in vertex form, you'd have the negative in front, x plus 0 squared and then your plus 4. So that would, the transformation, it was flipped over. So this one's just one of those ones that you would look at it, wow, that looks different. Come over here, graph it, kind of work it backwards and figure it out from there. This stuff here is for Friday. So your assignment is 1 through 13. Use Desmos to check some of them, but I think once you get into a pattern, you're going to be good to go. Just be careful of the negatives inside the parentheses, and remember that flips everything if it's only inside the parentheses. So have a good day, and we'll talk to you on Friday.